Welcome everyone to my channel, the chess channel called the Chess Press. And what are we pressing today? We are pressing game 5 of the World Championship in Dubai between Magnus Carlsen and Jan Nepomniachtchi. Jan is from Russia, and Magnus is the world reigning champion over 10 years now in chess, #1. And Nepomniachtchi is white, Magnus is black. This is going to be a simple analysis of the game. All right, we start with e4, e5, typical openings nowadays. Knight f3, knight c6. Notice this, very interesting. This knight is protecting this pawn, while this knight is not. Okay, so that's an interesting deviation here. Now we have the bishop attacking that knight, and black is now attacking the bishop. The bishop moves back. Then we have knight f6. Now it is attacking that pawn, so now the attacks are basically more even. Now Nepomniachtchi castles. Bishop to e7. That's an interesting move. Quite a conservative move, but at least it's out, so it's developed. Rook to e1. It's protecting that pawn on e4. The pawn to b5. It is now attacking the bishop. And what does the bishop do? It moves back. So it's been attacked twice. It's had to move back twice. I would consider that a loss in tempo when you have to move back out of a position. But anyway, now Magnus Carlsen castles. We go to a4, attacking that pawn. Rook b8. Now this is a very strange move by Magnus. I would consider this a strange move. Maybe try to do some kind of psychological moves, like something new, something different. But it is to me, I don't think it worked out. I think he himself said in a new press conference that this did not work out for him as he had hoped. Because at this point, Nepomniachtchi was moving quite fast, like not even really thinking long, as though he had preparation of what he would see on the board, and he didn't have to think about it because it was part of his preparation. That's when you remember a certain amount of moves. If your opponents play certain moves, you already know what to do because you've prepared for this opening. So lots of memorization, especially in the opening theory here, has to be done. And the possibilities and what to do when those possibilities occur. But there comes a point where your memory is going to fail you, and actually you have to swim by yourself. And that happens in the middle game. So we're cruising towards the middle game quite soon here. All right, we take, and this is interesting. I consider that a fork, right? Because it's attacking two pieces. Actually not a fork, because this other pawn could take the pawn, so it's not really a fork. A fork is where you're attacking two pieces and the pieces cannot attack you back, but here the pawn can take you back. So what is the next step here? Magnus just takes, and that keeps an open file. A file is completely open, but it's very far away from the kings, you see. So I guess Magnus doesn't mind having that file be open, maybe because it's a close position. What they're gonna do, like cruise up and down like a ping pong ball, up and down with the rooks or something. So anyway, it's a nice open position file there, but where are the rooks gonna go? As you can see, it's a very close position on the board. There's lots of limited space to move around. All right, then we have h3, like a prophylactic move. Just in case black tries to attack. It has the two bishops still on the board. Maybe the two bishops will stay and then it could be attacked or back. To prophylactic move is a move that you do ahead of time to make sure that your king has space to escape. Okay, this is an escape square. So if somebody comes from behind here, you have a back door to escape. So it's a prophylactic move. D6, interesting move here. So far not much attacking is going on, and there's not one active move, and that's was in the press conference afterwards. And who said that? Magnus Carlsen said that about his play. So you can see how that is going to work out. If there's not too much active, meaning pieces that are forcing you to make certain moves, then it's a very kind of a different game here. C3. Alrighty. So this is a more development, I guess, to have the queen be out. I mean, this is a very interesting move here. Okay, the queen can now go out a little bit, kind of breathe a little bit, but I guess there's the next move that's coming up. It's like a preparation for another move. And what could that be? Maybe because he's gonna do another move with the pawn soon. Okay, we shall see. B4, so it's attacking that pawn. Let's look at it again. He continues to attack on this side. So Magnus seems to be more in attacking mode on this side far from the kings. Trying to open up the queen side of the board. And Nepo, how is he going to react? He ignores this threat. And he just moves this pawn to d3. Okay, very interesting. So again, it's protecting, this pawn is protecting the e-pawn. The d-pawn protects the e-pawn, while the c-pawn is exposed, but it's still protected by the b-pawn. So it's still like in a safe position. So there's a lot of protection. This is move 12 already, and it's very kind of like a passive sort of game. All right. So the pawn takes on c3, and then he takes back. Okay. Does this change much? What does it change? Well, we do have this annoying bishop. This could be a problem. See, this is it's kind of like a wedge in your side or a pebble in your inside your shoe. And you walk, it's like, oh, it hurts. And you walk again, oh, it hurts. So it's like a constant reminder that that pebble in your shoe. This kind of bishop. It's like a fianchetto bishop, sort of, because the fianchetto would be the longest diagonal. It's not the longest, but it's kind of a sort of mini fianchetto type of bishop. So I think Magnus really wants to get rid of this bishop. Is he going to be able to do so? It's like this thorn in his side here. Well, what are the threats for black? Okay, this is where Magnus Carlsen is in a little bit of a trouble here. He's kind of starting to feel the pressure here because there's just one bishop. So is he going to be able to get rid of it or not? Because what is Magnus threatening? He can take here, but he'll be taken. He can go here. Cannot because he'll be taken. So he's kind of like stuck. Where's the queen gonna go? Is the queen going to go anywhere? And this rook cannot go down here because it's going to be taken. Okay, it's going to just help to develop the white piece. And what does he have for it? Nothing. So it's kind of a stuck position, isn't it? Very closed. It's kind of like the flower is closing at the end of the day, you know, to protect against the dark night. Anyway, let's see what this is appearing. Sorry about that. Bishop takes on c3. Okay, let's do this again. I mean, bishop. Pawn takes on c3. Sorry about that. More coffee. It's the end of the day. Come on, more coffee. It's been a very sleepy day for me. And I already told you about this one. All right. Then we move the pawn again to d5, attacking. So only thing is the queen is protecting. I think he wants to somehow break open the middle a little bit so he has some breathing room for the queen. Okay, let's see what goes on next. Knight to d2. Again, protecting this pawn. So we have 1, 2 protectors. Okay. Oh, do you see any more? I see protectors means they're defending this pawn that's being attacked. It's being attacked here, and it's being attacked here. Okay. And this square cannot, you cannot go on this square, and this knight cannot go here either. So the knights are kind of stuck too. It's like a total paralysis here. Okay, no action. D takes on e4, trying to make some headway here. It's a very strong wind, you know, like you're trying to against the wind, like in New York City, and you're trying to reach the subway, and the wind just blows you back, or maybe Chicago, whatever you want, whatever you are. Think of a windy city. That would be Chicago. I've been there. It's very windy sometimes. So think about that. He's trying to make some headway. It's very hard to just push against this position. All right, so again, he's attacking with pawns. He's so far been attacking with pawns, not with major pieces, or the minor pieces too. So the pawns are the attackers here for now. So he takes. Obviously, he doesn't want his knight attacked. Okay, what crucial move do we have here? Bishop to d6, another conservative move to protect his pawn. Again, this bishop is still there. This annoying bishop. It's only protected by this rook, which now is stuck protecting. Okay, because he builds the queen somehow, has tempo, he can have a quick checkmate, sort of, or more opportunities. Queen to c2. Ooh la la. All right, queen to c2. Very interesting, protecting both this pawn and this pawn, and supporting this bishop. And also, you know, it's a very strong move. This queen to c2, h6. So now Magnus also wants some breathing room for his king, so he takes the time to do that for h6. So what are we like stuck? Feels like a very stuck, like molasses. You're stuck in molasses and you're barely able to move. It feels like a stuck molasses type of game, or you're like some bog someplace, or well, hopefully not quicksand, because at least molasses you kind of get yourself out of there. Okay, knights to f1. Okay, retreating, repositioning. Okay, knight to e7, repositioning also. Like closing in the flower again. Becoming like a reverse cocoon. Instead of becoming a butterfly, you're like stuck in a cocoon phase or something. Building your cocoon. Knight to g3. Knight to g3 is 6. I mean, this is. Are we like robots? I'm serious. Are these robots playing or human beings? It's just. It seems like these. Whoever's helping them prepare. It's just. They gotta just let them go. Let them free. Let them be butterflies. Don't like constrict them to. They probably are all overload. This is like the 5th game. The tension is high, and the teams are wanting to be winning because it's not just about you anymore. It's about your team who's helping prepare you, and it's egos are on the line, so they're like feeling the pressure, and we have very symmetrical robotic like engine like position here. Oh my, let's take a breath. Let's take a breath here. Bishop to e3. All right, which way is it going? It's trying to do some kind of move, correct? At least closer. It's going for this line here somehow to break through, but what else is going to help it? I don't see any helping. Maybe the queen, but then you have this pawn there. So that's very interesting. The computer here such as go to a7, but that didn't happen at this point. Okay. Queen to e8. Again, defending this pawn. Okay, and hopefully, like being able to get out of its cocoon. Can see some ways to get out. Like here, there's a possibilities here, for example, to c6, attacking this pawn, which would mean that the queen would forget that the queen would be taken, but then you could take. I mean, you could take the queens off the board somehow. Rook to d1. I guess this bishop's gonna move at some point, so would be another way to have another open line. So the lines are sort of opening, but look at the fortresses being built by both of them. It's like, you're not getting in here. No secret key to get in. Bishop to e6. Look at that. So this is what Magnus Carlsen wanted. He wanted a way to get rid of that bishop, and he's found a way. He's willing to sacrifice his bishop for that bishop. What's it gonna be? What is it going to be? Do you see what's gonna happen? Can you predict? Oh my goodness. He didn't take. Napomyashi said, no way, Jose. You're not taking my bishop. I'm just gonna attack your queen. Alright, and Magnus responds by bishop to d7. I'm giving you another opportunity. Look at that, how that interesting way. I'm giving you an opportunity to take me. And Napomyashi says knight to d2. So he's going to maybe go towards that other bishop. Very interesting game here. He did not push the c-pawn, for example, to c4. That could have been another outcome. A c4 push. Bishop takes on a4 and attacking the queen at the same time. Okay? So he takes and takes. So the queen is off the board here. A rook takes. The queens are off the board. We are officially in the endgame. And look what a crowded endgame it is. What a crowded endgame it is. Rook to a8. He's gonna probably want to escape, or is he gonna take? Rook to a1, protecting his other rook. Rook takes, so we have exchange of rooks. Let's see if this is more active. This seems to be white, seems to be a more active rook, but what will Magnus do? Rook to b8, he's also activated his rook. Okay. Rook to a6, going towards that line. Okay. Knight to e8, finally moving out a little bit out of the way, but it's protecting this bishop. It is protecting this bishop. King to f1. This is also another escape square here if not necessary, just in case this rook decides to go to b1, but the knight is there to take. Knight to f8, repositioning. Knight to f5. Knight to e6. Giving more room for the king, I guess. Knight to c4, again going for that black bishop. Rook to d8, protecting that bishop. It's all about that bishop now. My. Okay. f3. f6, very symmetrical. g4. King to f7. Magnus likes to move his king and make it active. Once you move the king, you have to reposition everything in your head because you're after a check or a checkmate. So all your calculations have to be totally reset at this point because the king has moved. That could be a strategy. But in endgames, kings usually are active. h4, moving on up. Bishop to f8. That's protecting several lines and also the pawn structure there. King to e2. Also looking for more breathing room and being closer to the d line, so if the rook comes down, well, it's taken. It's easily taken. All right. Knight to d6. All right, it is being now attacked, so Magnus wants Nepomniachtchi to do something about this knight. Is he going to do something? Yes, he takes with this knight. At the same time, it's a check with the king. Bishop takes on d6. All right, h5. Just moving on up. Bishop to f8, retreats. It's done its job. Doesn't want to be taken. Rook to a5. Okay. King to e8. Look how many times the king has moved already. Repositioning again. So you have to recalculate and reset your thinking again. Rook to d5. We're taking. Maybe offering the rooks. What will happen? Rook does not want to be taken, so it moves out to a8. Rook to d1. Rook to a2 check. Rook to d2 blocks the check. Rook to a1. Rook to d1. Rook to a2. Rook to d2. Rook to r2d2. You know, remember Star Wars? R2d2 feels like our R2d2 game. Alright, and that's a three-way repetition, and that is how Game 5 has ended in another draw. A very drawish day. The weather is very drawish. If you say drawish, 50-50 chance of draw. That's the weather in Dubai. The Dubai draw. Maybe it's going to be called the Dubai Draw Day. Or the Dubai Draw Tournament. The Draw Dubai Tournament. Something like that. Anyway, so thank you so much for listening. Please hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. It's a very kind of comical way of, I'm not serious about this thing. Just make sure this is a comical way here of seeing this game. What else have we got? Hope you did learn something though, and hopefully you did smile. Thank you so much. Again, hit like and subscribe for more content. Au revoir.